love is so complicated, right? Until it's simplified, and then it's so simple. So this experience was, love isn't about a person. It's not about you or me or another being on its own. It's about all of us. Big heart, where we all experience something together. That's love. That's so supportive. It's so uniting. You cannot be sad and depressed all the time. You know, you can't have a neurosis when there's big heart in your day to day. So here we've experienced it daily for a few days, where everybody's connecting all the time, and we don't do that in the world. So it's so important to come and have these experiences, because then you can go to the world with it, and that's how it'll spread. You know, everyone's in the world looking for a love story, and there is the love story, which is this. That's love.
He was my first love, and this is our first festival together. We've been together just almost a year now, and it's been a really crazy year for me. Big losses in my family and all sorts of crazy things. And I keep saying to him, you know, you can, I would 100% understand, because we're only 20 and 21 respectively, if you were to want to be friends or take a bit of space from the depth of everything that's going on. But he's just been really, really cool about it, and it's almost like it's just not an option to him. He says, I can choose what I want to do, and I want to be here for you. It's just my choice. So it's really nice to have that support, and I suppose that's a big part of why I love him.
My love story is sitting in the same room with someone, not saying a word, and it's not an awkward silence, it's just silence. And you don't add anything to the conversation unless it's better than that silence. That's what I think love is.
There is a feeling that I cannot explain obviously very well, but there is still going back of that moment when I was 14 years old on a rock in Sardinia, and I'm still looking for that. It's gonna arrive at some stage. I don't know where it is though.
Everyone has bits of themselves. Everyone is so different. So everyone has different wants and needs, different aspects of their personalities that clash even just a little bit. And also I think people close themselves off a lot. I think it's probably quite a scary thing, letting someone into your life.
Now I'm in a space where I'm not putting myself under pressure to find a long-term relationship. I'm not putting myself under pressure to, because I was maybe 3 years ago I had been doing, 5 years ago maybe I had been doing that, because I'd been a long while being single, and I was going, well, that's a bit crap, maybe I'd like to be with a girl. So then I began to go out with a girl who wasn't a good choice for me, but because I'd been single for so long, I was thinking, well, maybe this is as good as it gets. And then after a while of a lot of stress, I began to say, actually, no, you're not the mother of my children. And so, that's a clear realization that I do not feel at home in this relationship, so I'm going to say goodbye. And then I've had other subsequent relationships after that. And the more I'm experiencing them, as I'm saying, the more they're getting better. But also the less stressed I am about having to find the one relationship or the right long-term relationship. So I'm actually getting a hell of a lot more chilled out and relaxed about my love stories. And so I'm kind of now excited and just kind of kicking back and waiting to see what will happen next. I'm not wanting to be in a full relationship, and not wanting to even find a partner that I might but I might spend the rest of my life with, or a partner that might be the mother of my children. And I'm now just kind of kicking back and going, all right, well, let's just kind of see what happens and enjoy that. And that can be short term, or that could be passing, or it could be casual, or it could be more medium term, or it could be just giving me whatever I want right at that time. So I've become a lot more relaxed about my love stories, and therefore probably much more capable of being able to enjoy and experience and be true and be real in my love stories. So I'm I'm single now, and I'm kind of looking forward to what the next one might be, and kind of guessing that it's going to be better than the last ones I've had.
We both began to realise that we were meant to meet each other, but not to be each other's lovers. We were friends. We were brother and sister. We were two halves of the same pie. We were close in every single way except the way you need to be with the person you spend the rest of your life with.
You know the way you get into those periods of love in the early times where it's all inside your own head and inside the body of you and your loved one, and it becomes very enclosed, but then you can come to a festival where everyone is tapping into that same love inside themselves, either remembering past hurts or past loves or future yearnings, and so all of you come together and you can sort of surf. You can sort of surf that shared love, that love that was so locked within your own head and within the heart of you and your lover and everyone else too. So it's a really special thing.
And then we fell in love over the course of the next few days walking together. So by the end of the Camino, I just continued walking to Madrid.
Well, I've definitely never been in love because I've never met anybody to love. Because I am quiet and I just like going out and hanging out and not having to talk to too many people. And all my friends know that, so they never make me talk to other people. And then it's just a good time. Just I chat to people and they know that, if I get quiet, I won't talk to anybody else. Basically what I'm saying is that everybody loves me all the time and I have to try and figure out who loves me the most.
Love is this scary thing everybody gets really worked up about, and I think the big problem with that is that people don't actually realise what they have, what's right in front of them, because they're too they think about it and they're like, oh my god, am I going to be in love? Am I not going to be in love? Does he love me? Does she love me? Everybody's so wound up about it that they don't actually take the time to stop and actually realise what the word means. And they're all so everybody's got all this sort of anxiety around love, which is actually probably the opposite state of love, because love is, just perfect calmness. Being with somebody, being in love with somebody just means that you never worry about what they're doing. You never worry about any of these things. That's not because you trust them wholly 100%. So that's what love is. So love is not actually trying to control somebody or not worry about where they are or have your own inner anxieties. It's about letting all of that go.
We got together over that weekend and we were just having a nice time and being silly. And towards the end, when we were starting to pack up our tents, he found this little frog in the ground. And he picked it up on his hand and he was like, oh look, I have this frog. And I remember just being like, oh wow, that's great. But then I felt this urge to, take my tent down. And I was like, oh, that's great, but I've got to do this thing. And then I turned around about 5-10 minutes later and he was still sitting there with it on his hand. And I was like, oh. And I just had this just this overwhelming feeling of kind of sadness combined with joy that I hadn't stayed there and just been like, oh, hi you guys.
Went to see Christy Moore and I brought him home and I brought him down to the river and we kissed down by the river in my old childhood hunt. And we went out for a lovely 3 or 4 months and then an awful tragedy happened for him and he had to leave and go and sort stuff out, and he was told to leave all his attachments behind, so he went off and did that. So we broke up while still madly in love with each other, and he went off to deal with that. And I like stayed in love with him for about 10 years, I realised after that then. So we broke up and that was all lovely. And then we would meet for tea. And by the time we'd like finished having tea, I was like falling back in love with him. So it was like every time I met him, it was like actually fell in love with him over each time. And like it was like just like this moment of like coming home every time I met him for tea for years. And then I was like, okay, I should do something about this again. I should actually like go ask the question. So I asked the question. He said that he had already completely and utterly put the whole thing to bed and had resolved it years ago. So it was that really amazing thing where, like, for me, he was completely my soulmate and I was not his.
I'm actually going to take a backseat for the moment, and I figured that rather than looking or searching or trying to find or whatever, I'll just look after what I want to do, and then hopefully life will get interrupted by it.
I get confused with the amount of love that I feel and want to give to the world and to everyone around me, and the love that I can contain and give to a partner or one person. And that's a major learning and a journey for me. So that requires a kind of, I don't know, it's just a working with that other person to really discover how we can still experience our love together to the fullest, and also be able to fully embrace the world and like give love to every person you meet. And I think that's like in a like coming from a place of love. And I think I think I'm still learning that the difference in that and where and what that is. So that's my kind of, when it comes up for me, love is my the difference between the world and the people around me, and then that one person who is so special to me.
There was love in the air. Everybody loved the time they had, but then also there was a lot of vibes, love vibes. You know, everybody was having a good time together in a fairly unusual situation.
I think that's it, really. That's the vibe of this. To me, another love story is the other love story. It's nothing. I wouldn't answer that now. My experience, and I wouldn't have answered it before. If you asked me last week, I wouldn't have answered talking about a love story that I had once, or what that did to me, or, you know, it's big. It's bigger than that self-indulgent story, which is great to be self-indulgent. You know, I mean, I'll tell you all those stories as well because they're powerful experiences, all of them. But this particular story this weekend is the big heart story, which I just want to live with forever. You know, I'm kind of, the wind is on my back with that story. You know, it's kind of I'm being pushed. I've been a few years back. I hit a tipping point where I know that's the only thing that matters, and I want to bring it to my son in ways that he's going to grow and feel it and know that it's the most important thing, and his heart is full and he's well, you know. And that's been the extra push now, having him in the world. I love him so much. It blows my heart how much I love my son. I can't believe it, you know. When I think about it, I cry. It's so beautiful, the feeling I have for him. And yeah, it was so great having him here yesterday. And that's the feeling, that massive love feeling that is going on.
The strongest love is when you can like let go of everything, and then you find this like new spot that you're in, and you're like, wow, this is so much better, like, because all the anxiety fades away. and then you start to like feel you start loving yourself as well at the same time. That's really key, because if you can't do that, and we're all like constantly like, you know, berating ourselves mentally inside our minds, like we're not this kind of person, I'm not that, like, oh, my body shape, oh, I'm really short, I don't know, like, what's going on in life, you know, I don't make enough money, you know, constantly doing this stuff to ourselves. So you can't really love someone if you don't love yourself. So there's a dual process that goes on there. Two things going on at once. So if you really want to love somebody, you have to love yourself first and forgive yourself for all of your, you know, the made up problems that other people told you, like, or that society tells you you're this and you're that, or you're not this kind of person. And once you can start to accept that, then you can actually maybe experience love with somebody else.
It was just this like spark that really just changed everything. It made someone literally like change their entire life, direction, plan, and everything, all for just that spark, that love, that I don't know, that I thought that was magic.
It's kind of the opposite of a love story, but it's self-love. It's that's really my love story. And after years of seeking love outside of myself, I'm learning to look for it in me, and hence I suppose where I'm at now is we just did a gig here, and that in itself is a love story, and all these people, all these events that have opened up pretty much as a result of pursuing singing, and that I feel is very connected to my heart opening and living in my passion. And that for me is the cure for destructive patterns in my life or addictive behavior in my life, is singing and is music. And the result is there's a lot of love in the room then when we do a gig. And so I think from that place, falling in love with myself a bit more and accepting the instinct that I have to sing and the instinct to express myself and let my heart open. That's it. That's my love story. So from that place, I think the right healthy thing can blossom.
Who you are is enough. It always has been enough. It always will be enough. And anything else is a lie. That you're enough. And the universe, that's known. You are enough. And just to kind of get with that and realize that, yeah, I am special as much as everyone's special. And not to say that I am any better than anyone else, but just to deeply and lovingly acknowledge within myself that I am special and that I am enough. And I'm not cultivating a love story within myself and wrestling a bit with it. But yeah, there's always this little sparkle of optimism going.
Yeah, I don't really have a love story. I can't think. I've had no major loves in my life to this point. Not that I think that love is an impossible thing. I find it quite elusive. Yeah, and even when I'm thinking about relationships, I don't know if I'm looking more for companionship or for actually love. It's an odd one. It doesn't come into my, as a single person who's been single for like most of the time single, not with sort of casual relationships. It doesn't really, the idea of love doesn't really come into my daily, the idea does. I think of my close friends who I love and in that kind of way, like my very close friends who I do anything for, or certain people, that's definitely love, and my family and all that kind of love. But I suppose the other kind of, the romantic kind of love is one I find a bit elusive. Maybe that's just at the moment. Maybe I'm going through a sort of phase of that for the last few months. But yeah, that's my thoughts on love right now.
I have been totally Alice in Wonderland this weekend. I'm Alice in the Palace. And it has been just the most amazing. I feel like I'm dreaming. I've stepped out of my life because it's been very sad for a long time, and I've stepped out of it, and it was just the best bit of happiness all weekend. I haven't stopped smiling all weekend. And I'm always a smiley person, but I'm really smiling. It's not the facade that I normally have on. And I really love it. I'm smiling inside. I think for me, love is all different things. There isn't just one love, like. And those experiences and those moments in time are what mean the world to me. Because I'm the eternal singleton. I'm not normally a romantic kind of person, not in the traditional romantic kind of way, but I'm a big softie. And I love to see everybody enjoying themselves. And that feels me. Especially when I've done a good job and I know that they're all having a blast. That's love as well. Because we get caught up in all the crap that's going on. People just need to stop and have a hug every now and then. It's nice.